Hey everyone, this is Mukul and this is Swapnit. Welcome to Going Slow podcast, where we discuss our product journeys and also have casual discussions around life, universe, and everything in between.
Hello, hello. Welcome to episode 23 of Going Slow podcast. Hey Swapna, how's your week going so far?
Hey Mukul, everything is going good. You tell, I see a new background.
Yeah,
How things there?
I'm now officially a digital nomad now. So yeah, I'm currently in Phuket. So I just arrived here like 3 4 days back, and I'm planning to stay here for 2 months. So this time I'm following all the rules I made for myself which I made for myself last time. So I'm staying in one place for 2 months, like just one place. So from this place, maybe like for example, if I have to go, like for example, if we are in Bangalore and if we want to go to Nandi Hills, or if we want to go Kurg, something like that. So for
Right,
example, I'll stay here for 2 months, but if I want to go to some place like there in Phuket, there is a Koh Phi Island. So if I want
right,
to go to Koh Phi, I'll just go there for 2 days and come back to this place. The reason being like it's just like more stable, and yeah, I'm doing a lot of anti tour travel things now, like which is like traditional travel things. Like for example, this time I'm cooking almost like daily, almost all the meals.
nice.
Like sometimes I'm eating out, but of the time like making like food at home. And yeah, it's so I'm just settling in, like it's just been 4 days. So the stay is great. The place I'm currently booked, it's very affordable, Phuket. And after the Euro trip, it feels so good that it's affordable because it's way more affordable than Europe. To be honest, I remember booked a stay in Madeira. The cost of that stay for 1 week is equal was little bit more than the cost of stay here for 1 month. And I'm like, oh my god, this is I love this place. But yeah, it's really good. Like the overall, I would say the also it's very easy to go around places in Phuket. Like the infrastructure, the roads are really really amazing. So I just rented out a scooter, and it's like you can just like go on to any place you would like. So it's super cool.
That's perfect. Like you said, officially a nomad now, digital nomad now. So this is
Yeah, partial nomad for sure, because I'm not like moving from one place to other place. Like for example, after 2 months in Thailand, I'll not go to a different place. So I'll go back home, stay at home for some time, and then go to a new place again. So it's like I would say boomerang kind of situation. I'll stay at one place and then I'll go to some other place and then I'll come back.
good. Yeah, but I think that's like a very close step to being like a fully nomad. Since now you're
Yeah.
just you are going to stay there for 2 months, so now you pretty much have all your essentials in one bag, and I think that is pretty much uh, another step to being a nomad. You don't have a lot of possessions, and this time you're carrying a lot of cooking stuff as well, utensils and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, this time I'm carrying a lot of cooking stuffs. I thought I'll make like a lot of stuffs, but unfortunately I'm not getting a lot of ingredients here. So we'll see how much I'll make. But yeah, I came prepared this time. So last time it didn't take much. So this time I came prepared. I bought mixer, I bought egg boiler, everything. So and coffee maker, coffee machine, everything. So it was like in my suitcase where I was packing all my stuff, there was like 33% of the space was occupied by all these things. Yeah, so the reason being because I didn't want to that I'm adjusting or something. I didn't want to feel that I'm like just like passing the days and just like going with it, going through that whole 2 months and stuff. So now I feel more comfortable that if I have to make something. Like if I'm going out, that's fine. Like the food is great outside for sure. But if I'm making something at home, I don't have to compromise a lot in while making it and stuff. So and also like I remember last time when I was traveling, it was impacting my work productivity a lot because I was moving a lot
Right.
and everything because there was no routine. So my first plan was after coming here was even when I'm traveling, I should have a routine. When I'm waking up in the morning, after waking up, what should I do, and then at what time should I work, and then after, like, there should be like a dedicated hours to work. So yeah, this time I'm doing that. So yeah, a lot of fine tuning this time.
Yeah, it's like you're iterating.
Yeah, iterating toward travel market fit.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
What
Yeah,
about
so it
you?
makes sense as well. 2 months is a long time. Uh, so compromising then it's hard to stay for a long time. 1 week, 10 days is okay, but 2 months is pretty much like towards the end you'll feel like okay, you're settled there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that's what I realized last time that like all the touristy things you can do it in like 1 to 2 days. Like touristy things are not that much. Like you can do it like 1 2 days and stuff. And also like if you're traveling often, and then things will have lesser importance because you are seeing similar stuff. Like for
right.
example, if you're seeing one church in
Yeah,
one city, you go to another city and see another church, you will not feel any difference because you are seeing something like that. So things like that starts like losing their importance. So it's more about like how you want to like live like a local, like not like a local maybe, but live not like a tourist and live like, for example, you're part of that vibe and culture.
yeah. Makes sense. I think like you said, there's church, there's maybe you'll get a fountain, like a waterfall, uh, maybe some mountains, some viewpoints. Overall, there are like limited types of points that you see at different places. So yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
and also it's like 2 months, so I mean you can. It's not like you have to cover all those points and all those things, but even if you're going to those points, you can cover it like slowly, like one by one. Like you can go it once a week or something like that. So there is no hurry as such. So yeah, done like that much touristy stuff as of now. It's only 4 days so far, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of a little bit rainy sometimes here nowadays, but weather is really good almost all the time. So most probably I'll, yeah, most of the touristy point by the end of 2 months for sure.
nice, nice. I'm also looking forward to traveling either next month or in September. It's been a long time, so yeah, I'll do that.
Nice. Where would you like to travel? What's your dream destination for the next month?
It has been because I think last time I was just there for a few days, and that is something I miss. So that is on the cards. Also depends on who I go with because I am not. I don't like traveling long alone as of now. It might change, but as of now, I need like someone whom I can travel with. I'm like very introvert, so if I go alone, then I'll just go and come back without doing anything. So it depends on where their friends want to go. And like we are discussing, right? People who are working, they might have some restrictions that they need to log in from India only. So that sort of puts Andaman is something I want to go for a long time. That was there was a WhatsApp group where we were planning to go just before the pandemic, and then those plans got delayed. So that is one place. Another place I'm looking forward to is Orville. That is, I've heard like one of my friends told me there's like a different system in Orville. Like there's a different currency there. I was very fascinated by it. So I was like, okay, this is a place worth visiting. Uh, I think you have to hand in everything when you enter. They give you a set of clothes. It's a very different
Where? Sorry.
Orville.
Ah, okay, in your
Pond-
Pondicherry. Okay. I mean, I have heard of it, but I haven't heard that it's that extreme.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also not sure. I need to dig it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that time we were discussing that person wanted to go, but then something or the other came up, and I think that's the hardest part about going on like trips or just going for a long travel, which is going alone is much easier, but if you're going with a group, then there are a lot of constraints and dependencies add up. And again, yeah, that's the hardest part to figure out. Once the company is sorted, then other things get figured out pretty quickly.
Totally. Instead of going solo, if you have friends with you, that's like 100% always better. I mean, 100%. Like, there's no doubt in that. In my case, like, I was not able to find a friend who was having the same kind of availability as me. So I was like, okay, let's just go and I'll just figure something out. So I mean, personally, I don't have any problem with going solo, to be honest. But yeah, I would prefer. I mean, if I are given a choice of traveling solo and traveling with friends, I'll always choose traveling with friends. Why would I choose or traveling solo in that case? But even if I'm traveling solo in that case, I don't have that much issue with it. But yeah, I understand like what you, because in traveling solo you have, if we are traveling with friends, you don't have to make any effort, like because you are already in your comfort zone and stuff. But when you're traveling solo, socializing is like, and if you're introvert, because like I'm an introvert too, and it gets really difficult to socialize too, because so yeah, I mean that part I totally for sure. I have heard, like I have heard, like I always wanted to go to and too, but people always say that the internet situation there is not that great, so that's why I never explored that part, because many of my friends are like place is good, but the internet situation is not that great. So yeah, one more thing I feel after coming to Phuket is like, which I feel is not in India, that like we don't seem to understand what are the advantages if we make our country tourist friendly. Like for example, Thailand, they are trying to make it tourist friendly. So a lot of people who are from like Western countries, or like who not Western countries in a way, like who are earning much higher, like who are earning way more, are coming here and spending the money and supporting locals and stuff. So, and it's kind of basically helping them boost their economy. But
Right.
I feel in India it's mm, like tourists are not kind of very welcome, because one of I met few people who were coming to India and stuff long time back, and they said it's very hard to get Indian, and I was like, oh okay, that's weird. Yeah, I feel it's like it's less tourist friendly. Also, we are kind of groomed in a way that we are not very we like many people who hasn't traveled outside of India,
Right.
because it's not very easy, it's not very accessible to go. Like for example, people in Europe are traveling to other traveling between each like other countries because it's very easy, it's very simple to travel. But in India it's very difficult. So yeah, I mean I'm not sure how to remove that accessibility part for sure, because it's just like the question of geography. But I feel that the accessibility is a issue in terms of, if even if you remove the geographical constraint that it's far and stuff, but there is also one more question of visa. Our passport
Yeah.
is extremely weak. So so when I see those points, like I was not thinking about those points before, but after traveling few places I was like, oh okay, like the problems we are facing, other people are not thinking about it at all because they are not facing that problem. I was like, ah, okay, that's interesting that they are not even thinking about it. They don't even have a clue that such problems exist. So that's what I feel like. It's little less travel friendly and tourist friendly as of now. Hopefully, it will change, but as of now, I don't think it's that friendly.
Yeah. I think it's like a equilibrium wherein once you have more Indians spending money outside, it should shift to more like strengthening of our visa, of our passport. Um, it's very hard to
Mm,
like make a case independently, but these are there for a reason, right? And I'm assuming it would be mostly based on the average spends at a nationality level. So once Indians as a whole earn more and spend more outside, I think this should change, which I don't see happening anytime soon. It will take like more than a decade or so. Let's see.
yeah, I don't think that will be the case to be honest, because most of the people who are spending outside or going outside are very eager to quit their Indian passport. Like, so, so yeah, I haven't like explored that part in detail. Like, why is that like this? Or so it is just an observation as of now. I haven't explored like why is it like that and stuff, but how much like how spending will affect this or not. But still, yeah.
See, like last week itself, I saw one of my work peers Indian citizenship, and so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, many of my friends have moved to now US or Canada or something, and it's crazy to think there were like so many people when we started in Bangalore, and now everyone has moved out, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
very true, very true. When we started, like half of our batch was there, and
Yeah,
it was now less than 10% is there.
yeah. If you think countries as a magnet, so US and Canada is kind of a strong magnet. So they are attracting all the talented people out there. And even like most of the talented people are out there, and so it's like a cycle. So most of the talented people are there, and most of the talented and hardworking, and then they put effort in something, and then they create something good, and that's why it becomes good. And then again next batch of like talented people will start moving there, and the
Right,
same cycle
right.
will go on. So I mean, so like for example, Thailand has a magnet of travel, like or travel or accessibility or ease, like you can just easily come here anytime and stuff. US has that magnet of basically capitalism. So currently in India, we do not have that like a strong magnet for something. So other than family, like but yeah, no, I don't have any solution, and I never even thought of any solution in such complicated cases. This is just like an observation. I thought like, ah, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah. The only accounts that I remember when people coming to India were either like you're lost in life, and then you come to India, go to ashram, spend some time there, find inner peace. Like those are the only things I remember. I remember Steve Jobs also came to India at some point.
Okay,
Beatles came to India. Uh, I
really?
was saying,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay, interesting. Damn. It must be a rare event, right? Because it's like so far.
yeah. Other than that, I don't see any magnet points here for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, ashram is kind of a huge point, because I remember with someone and they said that like India is very famous for yoga and ashrams and stuff. So some person was like asking me about it, like about yoga and ashram, and I didn't have any clue. Like I had zero. I was like the most wrong representative for this, And I was like, oh, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this. And the other person was like super excited about that, and they have come to India just to explore that part. I was like, oh, okay, that's amazing. So yeah, that's definitely magnet, but that's not strong enough as of now. Hopefully, it will get stronger in future, but not strong enough as of now.
Yeah.
It's a but yeah, I think one more thing in that sense I kind of consider is like head start. Like for example, India got its independence on like in 1947, so it's like 70 years from now. It's just 73 years. Many countries have independence like more than 100 years, more than 150 years, more than 200 years. So it's like basically you started the race very late. So it's understandable that even though it's understandable that you're not like at the front. So that's also I think is a good point.
So,
What about you? Are you currently like in at your home or in Bangalore?
no, no, I'm currently traveling. I'm in Mumbai as of now.
It is cheaper and traffic is much better, and air quality is definitely much better.
Yeah, so whatever I'm getting here, like a one room in a 3 BHK, in that amount, getting a studio apartment in Phuket,
Oh
that
yeah.
is that is the difference. So even if you like add the flight, uh, the flight expenses, I think it's almost comparable, and Phuket might be a better deal than this. So that's that's what I'm contemplating right now. From a long-term perspective, I'm just sort of looking for a long break in between festivals. So the next long break I'm seeing is between Rakhi and Diwali. That's like a long stretch where I can travel. So yeah, just planning it out. Planning is always I don't know. It feels good. Yeah, it's free to explore things. Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
good. So just doing that.
I personally don't like planning that much because it's such a big pain that you have to plan so many things. So now I have now like just restricted myself to plan the essentials, like where I'm staying, where I'm
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
where
that's
I'm.
meant planning around the essentials of different
Uh,
places. Okay, if you
yeah, yeah,
go
makes sense.
there, you can stay for this much uh, duration there, and in general, these are the bunch of things that you can do there. Because when you travel for a long time, like a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months thing, pretty much you know that you're not going to come to this place again because there are other places as well. So matter. So for example, right now Mumbai is not the best season to live in because it gets flooded. There's a lot of rainfall here. So yeah, July, August, September, it's not preferred to live in Mumbai. So like things like that.
Yeah, if you're traveling rarely, like for example, if you do not travel often, so for
Hmm.
example, if you travel once in a year, twice in a year, something like that, in that case, the above thing I think makes sense. But if you are a frequent traveler, then I think it's fine. Like for example, if
Right.
you are a frequent traveler, then you are in Mumbai even in July, because you are a frequent traveler, you will like someday in few years or few months you will come back at the right season. Instead of like waiting for the perfect season, you can just
Right.
like go to the place, and then like I mean life is not short, like it's huge. And
Hmm.
instead of like, because I have seen so many plans getting scrapped because of the because of the reason that the weather is not good and everything. But instead of like it only applies if you're a frequent traveler though, because but like if you're
Right.
going like a very rarely, then it makes sense to go for the perfect case. But if you're traveling like often, then instead of like thinking all those variables, it's just easier on mind and that just go. And then even if this time it was not the right weather, but time after few months or sometimes in few years you will go at the right time. So that factor that you will go at the place only once, like for example, if you're visiting Phuket in this time, even if it's rainy, it's not like the end of the world, because you will come to Phuket in few years again, because
Right.
why not? If you like the place. So I feel like in case of like such cases, it's better to just like go. Like it's fine. Like if you're in Mumbai during flood times,
Yeah, yeah. Fair, fair point, I think. Uh, it's,
you'll have a unique story to tell if you survive.
yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah, okay, so we postponed the topic for like existential crisis, like my existential crisis update. We were postponing this topic like since last 2 weeks. So I have a small update on that. So basically, few months, like 1 or 2 months back, I was having the question like, what should I do next in a way that, because I was losing, motivation was kind of low, and I was not pushing for things and stuff. So lately I've kind of now realizing that like instead of like waiting for the big goal to arrive, it will come when it will come at some point. Like if I keep doing things, I'll find a goal to pursue. And now we have just realized that we'll start doing something, like something as in like we'll start growing our current apps, and we'll start working on something new. Like we'll keep building some new stuff, even if it works, even if it doesn't work, doesn't matter. Like we just want to like cycle running, like we just want to build stuff because we like it. And we are now focusing on like both, like growing our current app and in the free time building some new ones. So yeah, we now have luxury of retries. So even if one fails, we can try the second one. If second one fails, we can try the third one, and so on. As long as we try, that's fine. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
it's raining heavily now.
Anyhow,
So yeah, the only problem, the issue that I see with having goals is as soon as it gets checked off, we back to square one.
yeah.
And that is something I've seen a lot in the last. I get a lot of motivation to work for that, but someday or the other, because you're also putting a realistic goal, right? You're not putting a goal that will be fulfilled 10 years down the line. That is something which is like hard to get motivated. And you're not putting a very small goal like that can be done in 2 days. So you're putting like a Goldilocks style goal, which will be there in a few months or a few years. But as soon as you hit that, what do you do the next day? And I think that is something which is sort of like making me move away from goal setting. So, like last year, even at Rocket, we set a goal in January of placing 100 students. We hit that goal in October, and then again, it was like, what next? And now I've sort of like not keeping any goals, um, either on the business side or on the personal side, because I don't know, like it just like delays that cycle of of questioning. So you have a lot of questions, but like I'm just talking my personal side, which is while setting, I have a lot of questions. When I set a goal, all of those questions just get postponed to after the goal is achieved. But again, after the goal is done, go back to the basics. Okay, what do I do now? Why do I do it? And what next? And yeah, so yeah, as of now, I'm just sort of like this year. I've not set much goals to be honest. Like it's just like free flowing as of now. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I can relate so much to that because so when we were getting started, or because there was nothing like, because we didn't have anything working. So my and I just had like, I want to be an indie hacker. I want to be a bootstrapper, and I don't want to do a job, and I just want to reach 10K MRR. That was like our goal. Like that's it, and that 10K MRR thing kind of gives us like the whole energy motivation of going through multiple failed products and then iterating on the successful product. But it was like we hit that 10K MRR, and after that we were like, okay, now what? Because when I was like thinking of that goal, I never thought that I'll achieve it. And what will I do after achieving it? So so yeah, I mean, after that, that's why I was like, last 2 months I was a bit losing motivation in a way, like what should I do next and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I understand like having goal might like, it's like going back to square one and stuff, but now I feel that might be a good thing in a way that it's like basically you I'm setting something, then after reaching that point, like to reach that point I have that drive to reach that point, and once I reach that point, I'll basically rethink again, and I'll move the goalpost again. So yeah, I mean, I think for me, I feel that's healthier in a way that I like it. Like I like to move that goalpost every time, so that it's like giving a a bone to the dog.
yeah, yeah. And again, that sort of, I mean, that is exactly what what happens in corporate, right? I remember, I remember getting the like next projects for the next promos, and like you always have something to look forward to. And I think I feel that is how productivity, or that is how any work happens in any corporate, is that it is driven by goals. If you don't
Yeah, I mean,
have yeah,
it's yeah, I accept totally. Like it's like I'm like a dog, and that goal is like a bone to me. So I just like, it's like I just throw that bone at a far distance so that I'll run again and chase that bone, and then I'll throw that bone again, and then I'll chase it again. So it will be a constant cycle of like throwing bone and catching it. But for me, I can live with that demon. So that's fine. But I mean, in your case, I think if you don't want to set goals, huh? Like you don't want to have that dog chasing thing.
yeah. As of now, I don't. I feel because that was the main aim when I left my job as well. Because that was the cycle I wanted to get out of.
Yeah.
And the the sustainable money thing, that was always, that is the case wherein if you're able to cover your expenses and you're making uh, at least a decent amount that don't have to worry about your lifestyle and such. That is like a safeguard that if you're able to do that, you won't have to get back to a job. But like at the core, I wanted to get out or like a next thing wherein you have something to to look forward to. Like, so that is something I still figuring out. Like I said, this year, like normally every year, like last year also in January, I set like a lot of goals in a lot of different areas. And then at the end of the year, achieved some, uh, did not achieve some, and things like that. But like this year, till now, I don't have a goal in mind. I'm like, okay, whatever happens, happens. It's like proper going with the flow type of thing. And then maybe by the end of the year or in January next year, I'll just take a do a quick reflection to see how that works. Like as of now, it feels freeing. At the same time, I also thinking, okay, like what was the productivity level this year compared to last year when I was working towards the set goal. Uh, yeah, long term, I would like, I don't have goals to work towards. That's that's my North Star. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so when I'm saying like that dog chasing thing, I'm not saying like you're chasing money all the time. Like, it's not just about money because after a certain point, it's not about money. Uh, for example, for example, if you're like enough money now, as of like, for example, if you have enough money to cover your expenses or to do whatever you do, now what will you do? For example, assume that you have traveled the world. Like you have taken like a 1 year for yourself. You have traveled all the places you can. Now you have come back home. Now what will you do? Now you cannot say that I'm going to the beach and laying there for like you have done everything. Now what will you do? Like you will do something you just can't sit. Like you will have to do something. Like in that case you will do a thing which you really like. When you will do that thing you will have something to look forward to, that hey, I want to do this thing, but I want to, when I'm doing this thing, I want to get this thing too, like because
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to spend your time doing nothing. So when you're doing something you would want some return out of it. It's not
I
like
think this is yeah. Go ahead.
it doesn't have to be monetary. It can be monetary. I'm not saying it cannot be, but it can be anything. Assume like you have, mm, I mean, even you don't have that money restriction, you will still like to do something which has certain kind of value to it, because
Right.
like, why would you do something which is meaningless?
Correct. I think this is like a very good framework wherein like we just keep asking this, we'll get to the core of what you really like. So let's say
Hmm?
if someone like for people who are listening, so if you say, hey, money is what you're working towards, assume you have money, what next? If you say
Yeah.
I want to travel, so you cannot if you say, hey, I want to review places or do something like that, then that is like a longer term thing. But if you just want to say, hey, I want to just go chill at a beach, that is that is not the core.
even even
So
if you travel for like 10 years, you can't just travel. Like you need
yeah,
something. Like yeah, it's very hard. Like for example, like you're now running a company for like last 3 years, and suddenly you are occupied with it, and suddenly you have like infinite time. Like you have 24 hours for you. You don't have anything to do, but you will want something to do because it's just in your nature. Like it doesn't have to be restricted by calendar or anything. It's just
right.
something like something to look forward to, something to do.
I just remember one dialogue from ZNMD by Nelson Mandela, that खुद के लिए क्या करते हो? I think that is what I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was the question I was like asking myself like last 1 month and stuff. It's not that I have enough money now, but still I would like I thought like I'll ask this question like so that
Yeah,
at least I
we
can
need to
walk towards
yeah we
that
need to
direction.
figure out these answers. We need to figure out these answers for sure.
because
Um,
like 3 years back I couldn't ask this question. Like I didn't have that luxury or the opportunity to ask this question because I wanted money, nothing else. But now I have the option, at least a chance to ask question like what if I have enough money, then what should I do? Case like okay.
yeah, makes a lot of sense, and it also ties into. Remember last week we were talking about the weekly habit thing. So I actually tried it out with a bunch of for
Yeah.
writing. So we just decided to write a piece every week. So
Hmm.
yesterday itself, like four of us published one piece on the next weekend as well. And again, the goal is just to figure out just you're doing for yourself, you like it. And once you put enough number of time, that is when I'll like for myself, my goal is I want to figure out whether I like it enough or not. I've written things, but I've not written a lot. So I want to like, this is for example, podcast is something I've figured out I like. This is like a very natural thing. I like talking, especially in a one-on-one setting. So
Yeah.
I know this is something, even though I can't really attribute if there's anything productive out of it or not, but I'm enjoying this conversation as of now. And this is
Yeah.
something,
Hmm.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, like the podcast doesn't have any incentive. Like we do not make
Right,
money out of it. We do
right.
not get following out of it. So it's just something we like to do. So I
Yeah,
think like we like it definitely it's like one of those things, right? Like which are not associated with money. It's like just something we like to do. Yeah.
correct, correct. So another thing that I like is reading. So that is no, I know, okay, this is something I can spend time in, and I'm just like trying to figure out if writing can be the third thing that I like. And again, it is for now. It could be the case that I don't like it 5 years, 10 years down the line. But
Yeah.
again, it's a good answer to the question that if all the currents, again, you cannot depend on one thing, because if you wake up one day and decide that you don't like it anymore, then you're back to square one. So it's like
Yeah.
diversifying your
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
things.
Makes sense, makes sense. And I story relating to that
Yeah,
Beyblade story, you always feel like, for example, like I like traveling now, like I like solo
again,
traveling now. I might not like
correct.
it, or I might not do it in 5, 6 years from now. But
Yep,
if I can do it now, then let's do it. Like no postponing this kind of things.
exactly, exactly. What even are you postponing for? I think uh, the all the minimal needs and whatever things. I feel like a lot of things are in place compared to when we started this journey a few years back. Like we are at a
Yes.
much sorted place. We can like now
Yeah.
move up in master character things. So yeah, I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Cool, folks. So, a lot of deep discussions in this episode. I really enjoyed this. So, if you made it here to the end, let us know what parts resonated with you, and if there's anything you would want to hear more of, let us know. Our handle on Twitter is Going Slow Pod. And until then, stay curious and don't forget to have fun. See you.